Yes, it's a good thing. Even if you're not planning on using a click in the context of your playing atmosphere, worship, or otherwise, I think it's a really, really great idea to practice. When we say click, we're talking about a metronome. And I say that for drummers especially, but really for everybody. I think metronome practice is really, really good discipline. Because I think it makes us all aware of our propensity to just start running away with the tempo. The click centers you and forces you. And what I always tell people is practice with it until you're not really noticing it much anymore. That's when you're starting to get natural. The only problem with a click, or at least with a pre-programmed like track in praise and worship, sometimes it's a liability and sometimes it's a good thing. When it's a liability, it is a liability because if the praise and worship leader wants to go somewhere different at some point in the song, or if you can feel like the Holy Spirit's doing something and we need to play this thing longer, or something's going on in the congregation, you're chained to it. That would be the only real problem, I think, with it. And a lot of times you can remedy that by just playing with a click that isn't programmed to a track or anything else. But in terms of a discipline, I think the click is a really great thing. That's my opinion.
Essential.
Let me just say one quick thing about that too. When I was playing with, earlier on in my career, just playing with different musicians that might not be as advanced, and I personally wasn't as advanced, or maybe as I am now, not that I have arrived at advanced, you know what I'm saying. I didn't know if I'm feeling weird things with the tempo here, and there's push and pull all over the place. You guys know what I mean by that? But I didn't know if it was me and I'm rushing, or the drummer's slowing down, and I had no fixed standard by which to determine really what's going on here rhythmically. And when you throw a click on it, all of a sudden there's like a plumb line, there's like a chalk line if you're a construction guy, that this is the standard. And so all that weirdness of, is it my feel or is it his? And I'm accusing him, he's accusing me, and I don't know what's going on here. That kind of goes away, which is very freeing. It's like boundaries bring freedom, you know. This is where we're at. This is where the feel is, at least with the tempo. And so it actually brings a lot of freedom to our rehearsals, I feel like, when we use it. And it makes everybody better. Because if you can't play with the click, you probably can't play that well in terms of this genre. You guys want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely. Go ahead.
So you were all hearing the same click?
Yeah. So
let me just say a quick by way of disclaimer. We're doing all three things that Scott just mentioned. We're playing with tracks on a fixed arrangement that doesn't change unless I want to do something at the beginning or the end. We're doing what he just said, where there's no tracks but just click, and the click like stops even like 3/4 the way through the song, but we just know where the tempo is by then. There's no tracks, so there's freedom with the arrangement then, sort of. And then we're playing these two songs at the end, no click, no tracks, and we're just playing. Go ahead, James.
A couple things just to add to what Scott said. If you're a drummer and you have control over a click, which is traditionally it's the drummer, not always, but you can also sometimes rig up a foot switch and just stop it. You know, if you're getting into the outro choruses, I mean, maybe there's no reason to keep it at that point. Maybe you want to push a little bit, and maybe you feel the rest of the band pushing, and you can only do so much to hold the reins. So there's different schools of thought on that. You know, I mean. So
you're saying like
that's one option. You know, you can play like, you know, most of the song with it and you can drop it out, or you can start the song with it and then drop it out when you feel like everyone's got. So you know, there's different schools. I thought that's not like to dispute what you're saying, Scott. It's just like
don't ever question me in public.
That's just to say there's some options.
There might be a time when you do want to stop.
There's some middle ground. There's some options there you can do. I think there was something else I was going to say, but it must not have been great because I forgot it.
You question me in public and the Lord's punishing you.
That's probably what it is. I was going to say, I think that, you know, practicing with the click helps you know where that absolute time is.
Yeah,
and
totally.
then you can start to kind of go, well, I'm going to actually play on the back side of the beat. Well, if you don't know where the actual beat is, I mean, it seems a bit superficial to say, well, sorry, I keep getting used to this mic thing. I'm not used to, like, being a lead singer talking in between songs. if you know where the beat is, you know, you can play behind the beat and really know how much behind the beat you're playing. You know, I think sometimes as a bass player, it's nice to like play on the backside of the beat. But if you don't know where the beat is, how do you know that you're playing on the backside? You're just kind of playing. You know, so yeah, there you go.
Yeah, actually I learned this from Vitamin Z right here. Is the click can be, if you think of it as a line on the highway, you know those middle yellow lines. Think of the click as that big of a painted, you know, stretch, and there's a lot of places where you can put your downbeat. You can put it on the front of it, and that's essentially going to be rushing it, or on the back of it, and you're going to be laying back. Or some people, you know, hit it right in the center, and kind of what I've discovered, or at least felt. And I'm sure you guys can attest to this, but guitarists are notorious for rushing. You know, when you're in the session, it's just generally, the first thing they're going to say is like, lay back. So I try to hit the back of that click if I'm playing a real rhythmic part. And if I'm hitting it dead on the click, or especially if a drummer's hitting it dead on the click, sometimes even that feels like you're pushing it just a little bit. Like generally laying back, I think feels better. Depending on the song or the feel, you know.
Is that your experience too, Scott?
Yeah, yes.
You can disagree, man.
No,
You're the drummer.
No, I totally agree with that, and I just didn't. There's nothing I would add to that. And that's a great analogy about the road thing.
The roadkill.
The roadkill.
Yeah. No, that's a great way to look at it.